In this course, we are going to be using Laravel in the back end for an API and Nuxt.js in the front end for a client side to build a course marketplace similar to the functionality that you find in a site like Udemy.com. So this is what the interface is going to look like, and it's very basic what you see here, but the functionality is going to be quite interesting, I believe. We are going to call the platform Skill Meter, and at this point I have one course which I'll quickly demonstrate how you access the course in a moment. But when you log in, you would have the option to create a course as an instructor. So if I click on the instructor dashboard, it takes you to a dashboard where you see all the courses that you're currently teaching as an instructor. You can create a new course if you want, or you can just go ahead and edit some of the courses that you're already teaching. So here I have two courses, one still in draft mode, which is just created, so it's not published. Another which is published and is live with the price information on it. So let's go to the one that's published because it has information we can use to demonstrate. So if I click on manage, we have a couple of different pages that we use here. And the first part is the basic information about the course. And so we can set the course title, the course subtitle, a description. We can choose a category, a subcategory, and we can also set the level of the course, whether it's for beginners, it's for intermediate, advanced, or for all levels. And you simply save that information. And all what you see in the interface is purely running on Nuxt.js in the front end and an API in the back end on Laravel. You can also choose a course image and simply upload that to set it here, which is the image that people will see in the front end when they search for the courses. The next section is the course targets. So this is where instructors can identify who are the ideal students for their course, what students are going to learn, and what are the prerequisites for students to take this course. So if, for instance, I wanted students to have a basic understanding of Ruby on Rails, for instance, I'll set it here to say understanding of Ruby on Rails. If I wanted to set that as a requirement, I will just enter that information there, save it, and it's persisted in the back end. You can actually order things around. So if I wanted to reorder how these things appear in the front end, I can simply drag and drop them around, save, and that information gets persisted in the back end as well. So here we have the information on what students will learn in the course. So here I'm setting the target students. And if I try to add something here with no text and I try to save that, I get a validation error saying, hey, this is required, which is what we would expect. So this is going to be rendered in the front end when the students look at the course to see what the prerequisites are, what they would learn, and who the ideal students should be. Now the next section is quite interesting, which is where we're setting the course curriculum, and this is the course builder part of the whole thing. So instructors will have an intuitive interface like this, which is very similar to what you have on Udemy, where they can drag course lessons around, they can reorder things into sections and lessons, and they can create new sections and new lessons if they wanted to. So the functionality here is quite easy. Each course or each lesson will belong to a section, and we can reorder things between sections. So if I just come here and I wanted to set my installation information as the top of this section, I'll simply drag things around. And as I drag them around, you can see that the lecture numbers here change to reflect the sequence in which they will be played in the front end. And they are instantly saved. If I refresh, that information is actually persisted. So you don't have to click on the save button when you're reordering things around. You can also move things between sections. So if I wanted this to actually be part of section 2, I just need to move it around. And you see that it also reorders the entire course, all the lessons to follow the sequence in which they should appear in the front end. So I can drag things around, move them all I want. And I can also reorder entire sections. So if I wanted this section 2 to become section 1, I just need to put it up there, and all the lessons also get reordered. In fact, if I refresh, section 2 is still going to be at the top of the page. But let's just keep the first section here and in the way it was before. Instructors can create new lectures. So if I wanted to create a lecture in this section, I just click on create, and let's just say initial setup. When an instructor creates a lesson, it doesn't have any content initially, which does make sense. So they have the option to add contents to it, and you will see that indicated by this unchecked box here to say there's no content in this lesson yet. And they can just click on add content, and here they have two options. They can either upload a video or use text content. Let's start with the easy one, which is the text content. So they'll just click on text, and here I'm just going to copy the lorem ipsum text, paste it here, and assuming that is the content of my lecture. Do that, you can use the WYSIWYG editor here to highlight specific areas that you think are important, save that information, and now we have that content saved to that lesson. We're calculating the duration of each lecture, okay? So for the video, we directly get the duration in the back end. When the video is uploaded, we process the video and we get the duration. For text lessons, we are counting the number of words in the text and estimating how long it will take a human being to read that length of text. And that is where we're getting the duration from. So in this case, we'd say it will take about 47 seconds to read the entire text here. So we just calculate that and put it in there. Now let's create a video lesson. So this is a video lesson. You can pick a video, it gets processed in the back end. Now in this case, we are picking a 150 megabyte file, which normally it would take a while depending on your network to upload that file. But we are going to be implementing what we call chunk uploads here, which allows us to break large files into smaller chunks and upload them in different requests. And then in the back end, we put all of the chunks together into a single file and then process that video to whatever format we want. So this is going to be faster than if you were to upload the entire 150 megabytes as a single file. So I'm just going to pick this file, open that, and we see that the upload process is quite fast. You can see that it's running really fast here, and that file is uploaded. That's 158 megabytes of file uploaded in less than 10 seconds. In the back end, we are running a job, kicking off a job that is processing that video. And we are broadcasting the percentage process to the front end using WebSockets, which is why we can see the progress here. And in fact, the instructor can keep on walking here as if nothing happened, okay? They can reorder things around and they'll just keep getting the progress for that video being processed in the back end here. In the back end, the video gets processed and converted into an HTTP live streaming format. It is being uploaded to a DigitalOcean bucket, and that is where we are going to be streaming it from. The interesting part too is that we are actually encrypting the files so that in the end we'll be able to just play these files in the front end using a secret key, and users cannot download it. So it's a way to protect your data from being stolen by other users. So that video is actually uploaded. We can see the total duration of the video here. The job is being processed, and once that job is done, we should be ready to just play that video in the front end. So back here in our front end, you can see that the video was successfully processed. It's been stored in DigitalOcean. And the way we are going to be implementing this, you can literally store this anywhere you want. You can store it in Amazon S3 buckets, or you can store it in Azure Cloud or Google Cloud Storage, wherever you want. But the functionality will be more or less the same. Instructors also have the pricing information where they can set the price for their courses. They can pick from predefined prices. And once they do that, they can also set a coupon or create coupons for their courses to allow students buy the courses at a discount. So these are coupons that have been created. They can be activated and deactivated depending on what the instructor wants. Now that is it about creating and managing courses as an instructor. Back in the front end, you can only see the courses that are live, that have been published, and they are ready for people to consume. So let's go into this course. And because I am the instructor of this course, I already have access to it. So if I try to buy this course, I will get a warning or redirected to a page that says you already have access to this course. And this is thanks to the middleware implementation in Nuxt.js. So we are going to be handling the access rights or permissions in the front end in Nuxt using middleware. So again, if I go here, because I'm the instructor of the course, I can directly access the course without necessarily buying it again by clicking on any of the contents of the course. So if I click on the video, for instance, it opens the course player, and now I am in the course. I am playing the course as the student would normally do. And we are using video.js here, so we are not using a predefined player like Vimeo or anything like that. We are going to be implementing video.js to handle our course playback here. One of the things that you'll find in the course player is that as the course is playing in here, the video is playing in here, I have other pages that I can navigate to. So I can navigate to the questions page, the reviews page, the overview page, and you see that it's actually changing the URL here, but it doesn't interrupt with our video, okay? Because we are going to be implementing a persistent layout in the front end that will allow us render the video, let it play, but students can still continue to ask questions in different pages. They can continue to put in reviews. They can look at the overview information for the course without interrupting the video playback. Also, because I am in the first course, I don't see any link to go to a previous lesson, but I do see the link to go to the next lesson, which is installing on Mac OS, which is this one. So if I click there, I can directly go to the next lesson. And now we do have a link to go to the previous, which I can go back to if I wanted to. And this is the kind of really nice functionality that you find in popular course marketplaces. So I can navigate to the next video as I want. And if the lesson is a text content lesson, you can actually see the text content and not a video trying to play back. Again, we can go to the next, to the video, another text content, and then to the last, which is the final video of the course. So this is the kind of functionality that we are going to be implementing in this course. And I think that it's going to expose us to a lot of interesting features in Laravel, including things like processing jobs in a queue, handling mails, dealing with WebSockets, real-time notifications to the users in the front end using private channels. And also in the front end, we are going to dive into working with middleware to do access control, or to do state management using composables. We are also going to be organizing our routes in the front end in the Nuxt application in a really clean manner without necessarily using the file system routing in Nuxt.js. Of course, you can still use the file system routing if you want, but I just prefer to always organize my routes in a different way. And so we are going to be using custom routes here to organize our route files in a cleaner way, and not just going with the file system routing that comes with Nuxt.js. As far as authentication goes, we are going to be implementing HTTP only cookies for authentication, okay? And so we are not going to be using Laravel Sanctum stateful authentication. We are going to be doing an API token authentication where Sanctum issues tokens to the users in the front end, and those tokens get stored and sent back with requests. But the way we are going to do it in a more secure manner is that we are going to be storing that in HTTP only cookies so that those cookies cannot be read back by other clients, by a client script, okay? So if you look at these different cookies here, for instance, if I zoom in, we have three different cookies set here, one for Stripe, one for my authentication strategy, but this is the one that we're using for the authentication, and that is set as an HTTP only cookie. Now, if I go to the console and I try to do document.cookie, you'll see that I'm able to read the Stripe cookie, and I'm also able to read the other authentication methods cookie, which I don't really care about. We can set it to anything. It's not an authentication token, but I cannot read the authentication token cookie, and that's because it's being set by the server. It can only be read by the server, and that protects your site from cross-site scripting. So this is the kind of functionality that you'll be looking at. In fact, we are going to extend this to do melee search to get live search of our courses. So this course is meant for anyone who wants to really do full stack development. And we are going to be focusing on an API in Laravel, a solid API with a nice design pattern, and a front end in Nuxt.js that just gives us a nice combination for a full stack application. So join me in this course and let's develop the entire project from scratch.